episode of the Wicked Manor podcast. We are getting closer to the spooky season, and it's about time to start decorating for your home or haunt. Do you know how you're going to spookify it? Or do you need some ideas? Maybe this is your first time and don't have any ideas. Well, pull up a seat and get ready for some spooky decorating ideas. Glad to see you back this week as we will be getting into decorating for the spooky season. This episode I will show you some decorations that are out there for you to use in decorating your home or haunt. I will be discussing the different props and decorations that you can buy or make to make your place extra spooky. We'll also be showing you places where you can get those decorations. And finally, we will talk about different ideas for setting up those decorations, whether it be for your home or for a haunt. So let's start off with the decorations themselves. Maybe you're that person that goes to Spirit Halloween every year and gets decorations for your home or haunt. Now, while they have a good selection of props and decorations, they can be a little bit pricey and maybe they don't have what you want. Not saying that you can't shop there, because I have done so myself in the past. However, I like to shop around for those things and even make them myself. So besides Spirit Halloween and the other usual suspects for selling props and decorations, where else can you get your spooky decorations? Well, one thing that you need to figure out is your budget. How much do you have to spend on that stuff? You need to also figure out what you're willing to and can afford to spend on them. I'm going to show you where you can get them and show you some prices, whether it's the cheap stuff or the high-end stuff, depending on what you're able to afford. So let's start out with the inexpensive props and decorations. If you don't want to spend a whole lot of time and money, of course, the Dollar Tree, Family Dollar, Dollar General, places like that are the places to go. But let's say that you have some money and want to spend some good decorations. Of course, you can go to places like Walmart, Spirit Halloween, Lowe's, Home Depot, Party City, even Amazon to get those things. But let's look at some other online options. Now, as I talked about in the Samhain episode, Halloween is a multi-billion-dollar business. So one thing I will show you are not going to be that cheap, but compared to some higher end stuff, I will show you later. This stuff is not bad, but it could be better. Starting off with some stuff that you might decorate inside of your home, either just for decorating or for Halloween party. Here are some small decorations that are from Five Below the store. If you don't want to have one of those places in your area, you can always order online. I will leave a link in the description as well as all the other online places mentioned in this episode. So looking at the Five Below website, let's check out some of the stuff they have. I will not show all of them, as I don't want to make an episode over an hour long, just trying to show you everything. Maybe you just need a spooky glass for your Halloween party. Well, this skeleton hand cup is only $1, or maybe you need a party bowl to either put spooky treats in or candy in. Well, how about this skeleton bowl for only $4? How about some decorations for shelves, counters, bookcases, etc.? If you like candles, they have this ghost coffee themed scented candle with a spooky design on it for just $5.55. Now, my online store will have candles as well, but they're going to be a bit more expensive. I will talk about my online store at the end. And then how about a little figurine to be in the order as well? If you like Nightmare Before Christmas, how about this Jack Skellington figurine for $5? And for the outdoors, how about some skeletons that you can add all over the place for a cheap price, or add to any of your decorations with this 3-foot tall skeleton for just $7. If you're the kind of person who likes inflatables, they have an inflatable pumpkin for $25. And lastly, if you want some animatronics, but for not a whole lot of money, they have this animatronic Grim Reaper for $40. Moving on to some bigger and a little more expensive decorations for those that want to really decorate their yard or add to their haunt, especially if they're just starting out or don't have a big budget. For this, we go to HalloweenExpress.com. When you go to their site, the first thing you might see is a Halloween decoration sale with such things as outdoor animatronics, props, and so forth. I will let you look at what they have on your own, as I'm going to show you a few items and prices. Now, these are a bit more pricey, but if you want some good decorations, you're going to have to spend a little bit more. For example, how about this 8-foot 5 inches tall animatronic graveyard host that will be perfect for an entrance to your haunt or stand over your yard display. This is a little bit pricey, but for an animatronic, it's got a good price to it at $386.98. Maybe you want some pumpkins for your fall or Halloween decorations, but don't want to carve it just for it to rot and go bad. Well, they have these foam pumpkins that you can carve, draw faces on, or leave as they are for just $14. Or how about a giant spider to put on those cheap webs that you might buy every year, with this spider that has light up eyes for $22.97. Or how about a 3-piece evil jack-o'-lantern pathway markers for those trick-or-treaters to follow for $20.97. Now, before we talk about making props and decorations, let's look at some of the expensive stuff for those that either money is not an option or you have a big budget haunt. For this, we're going to go to DistortionsUnlimited.com. Here you're going to find those more expensive professional props and animatronics with a hefty price tag. How about this realistic death prop in a coffin for $319? Now, I will eventually start making stuff like this for my business once I can afford to get the stuff to make it, and might be able to sell it for less, but that will come in time. Maybe you got a graveyard scene and want to add a tipping tombstone animatronic for your display to give it that extra creepy factor. You can pick up this for $368. Maybe you have a medical mad scientist or something of the sort at your haunt and you want to add an animatronic prop to your decoration to add to that scare actor you have there. Well, there is this Waking Up Dead animatronic for $534. Now, maybe you want something for those professional haunts with big budgets. They have this mutant animatronic that lights up, moves, sprays air or water, depending on what you want to use. And now this prop is on the high end. This prop goes for $4,350. Now, there are other decorations that you can use that won't cost a whole lot, but many use them or don't think about using them, and those are the digital decorations. The place I like to go for my digital decoration is Atmosfx, which once I can get my business going good, is to partner with them to sell their stuff. So Atmosfx, if you would like to partner with my business, contact me. I plan on also making my own digital decorations in the future, but that will be a little further on down the line. So let's look at some of the things they have. Now they have decorations for more than just Halloween, but we're only going to be looking at the spooky stuff. Maybe you want some ghostly apparitions to fly around your or walk about your display. Well, new this year is Ghostly Apparitions 4. In this set you have Bungling Banshee, Plague Doctor, Bog Zombie, and Ghastly Grave Robber. You can buy each digital decoration individually for $19, or you can get all four for $60. That saves you $14 over buying them all individually. Not saying that you have to buy all, but you might be able to use them in a different year. Another new digital decoration this year is Nightmares. This set includes Abominations, Bone Spider, Dollface, Homunculus, I'm not even going to try and pronounce it, Necromancer, and Smiley for $10 individually, or the whole lot for $45. That saves you $15 if you buy all of them together. And the last one I wanted to talk about is the Jack-o'-lantern Jamboree, which is also new this year, the new one. If you want pumpkins that sing and talk, check these out. These pumpkins you won't have to have a messy, make a mess carving them, as they're interactive for your display. The individual prices vary on this one, but the total for all is $50. Now all these digital decorations, you will have a projector and the material to show them on, and that stuff, they have that stuff as well. So check out Atmosfx for your digital decorating needs. Finally, these are not so much for decorating as of yet, as I haven't started selling any of my props and decorations, but my shop has a few things with some spooky designs on them. Things like t-shirts, drinkware, cell phone cases, etc. And eventually, I will be selling stuff like what I have shown you in this episode, as well as making custom-made props and decorations. And I will also eventually start making my own digital decorations that will be more custom-made for your needs. So stop by Wicked FX Manor's online store today and pick up one of these products for yourself. Now, before I go, I have a few things that I have made as far as props and decorations that I will show you, and these I will probably start selling. Things like skulls. I took a cheap skull and made it look like it had flesh on it. Another thing is these Grim Reapers that I started out as cheap skeletons. I just did up part of them like I did the skull you just saw, and added a Grim Reaper costume to them. I will leave a link on how you can make these in the description below. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode and got some ideas or want to get one of those props or decorations. Again, all the links for this stuff I showed you will be in the description. That's all for this week, and before I go, make sure that you like, subscribe, follow, comment, hit that notification bell, and share with all your spooky friends so you don't miss any spooky episode. Stay spooky, my friends.
Well, that's another spectacular episode. And now that you have some ideas for decorating with or add to your decorations, Next step is picking out the right costume for Halloween, or that costume contest. So tune in next week for picking out the right costume to either amaze or scare your friends. Ha 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 ha